Hey guys, Bob here from Raw Strength and Muscle, and today I'm going to explain to you everything you need to know about how much fat you should be eating on a ketogenic diet. Now, first of all, before I start, please forget everything that you've heard about ketosis, gluconeogenesis. You have to take in 99% of your calories from fat and negative 0% of your calories from protein and 5% of your calories from carbs. And if you eat 1 gram of protein, you're going to turn into all this sugar and you're going to be burning carbs even though you're not eating any carbs. And it's not this perfect ratio and this mathematical formula. You're never going to be going into ketosis, okay? All of that is absolute BS propagated by people who have never been on a ketogenic diet, never trained anybody on a ketogenic diet, never experimented with the ketogenic diet, never gotten results with a ketogenic diet, because none of that stuff holds true in the real world, and I'm going to explain why not, okay? So check this out. First of all, a ketogenic diet basically works like this. Most people are burning carbohydrates for fuel. In the absence of carbohydrates, your body has two choices. A, die. B, find an alternate energy source. So this alternate energy source that your body will find is breaking down fat into ketones or ketone bodies, whatever you want to call them, and burning those things instead of carbs, sugar, glucose, glycogen, whatever you want to call that stuff. Okay? So I've already given you one hint, actually 2 hints, as to how much fat you need to take in to go into ketosis, okay? I did not say when you take in 85% of your calories from fat and 5% and 10% and blah, 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 then you go into ketosis. What I said is in the absence of carbohydrates, your body will burn fat instead because it has no choice, okay? It has nothing to do with how much or how little fat you have in your diet. If you eat nothing whatsoever at all, okay, you don't have any carbohydrates, you burn through the carbohydrates in your body, you're not eating anything whatsoever, but you still have body fat, your body will break down your body fat into ketone bodies, okay, and use that for energy. So you can eat zero, not just zero fat, zero carbs, 0 protein, 0 calories, 0 food, 0 everything, and you will still go into ketosis. So it doesn't mean you have to take in so many calories or such a percentage of fat, and if you don't do that, you're not going to go into ketosis. You don't have carbs, you either die or you go into ketosis. Boom, period. Okay? So another thing that I gave up is I just basically said that, it doesn't matter whether you are taking in fat from your diet or fat from your body, stored body fat, okay? The fact of the matter is your body will burn fat for fuel when you don't have any carbohydrates present. So what does this tell you? This tells you, once again, that it depends how much fat you should be taking in. Okay, and it goes to follow, if you understand what I'm talking about here, if your body uses either dietary fat that you eat or body fat that you have stored, or a combination of both, the more body fat you have, okay, the less fat you need to eat in your diet, okay, because your body really doesn't care, okay? So the bottom line is this. Like when I have somebody go on a ketogenic diet, okay, they've been eating a lot of carbs, okay, my first thing is to get them fat adapted. They need to take in a lot of water, they need to take in fiber, they need to take in electrolytes, okay, but they also, I want them to be taking in plenty of calories and I want them to be taking in plenty of fat. I may set them up with a diet, and usually I don't even tell them to eat a certain amount of food or a certain percentage. I basically just tell people, listen, just eat no carbs, get your water, fiber, electrolytes right, and eat plenty of fat, and then eat a little bit more fat. The thing is, you might have psychological problems like a literal dependency, a physical dependency or an emotional dependency on sugar, okay, like a sugar addiction, okay? You have to get the carbs out of your body. Your body has to switch over to ketosis. These are all kind of difficult things, and I don't want you to be working in a caloric deficit. I want you to have plenty of calories, plenty of fat, plenty of food, okay? All you do is drop the carbs. Now, after a few days of this, you shouldn't go into keto flu where you have flu-like symptoms, you feel weak, you feel dizzy, you have a headache, because you're getting the electrolytes in, you're getting the water in, you're taking the fiber, you're getting plenty of calories, you're getting plenty of fat. So you shouldn't go through anything bad, but it will take a couple days for you to feel good on a ketogenic diet. Then we need to have a little talk. We need to decide where your body is right now, because I already said the more body fat you have, the less fat you need to eat, okay? So carbs as low as possible, okay? Just as low as possible. No direct carb sources. If you want a number, it has to be below 50 grams total carbohydrates or under 30 grams net carbohydrates. Net carbohydrates being total carbohydrates minus fiber. The bottom line is don't eat any direct carbs, okay? Don't be like, I could have a quarter of an apple. Fuck that shit, okay? No direct carbs. Make sure that the trace carbohydrates in the food that you eat is below 50 grams total or 30 grams of net carbs, okay? Past that, okay? We need to talk about where your body is right now and where we want to get your body to be, because the more body fat you have, the less fat you need to be eating, okay? Because we don't want to feed the fat. We don't want to have your body burning the fat that you eat for fuel. We want your body to be burning the fat on your body for fuel. So if you have an excess of body fat, I have you drop your fat intake, okay, which drops your total caloric intake. And I have you maintain your protein intake. Your protein is important because you need protein. Your body needs protein to rebuild, okay? Not just your muscles, but your organs. Lots of things in your body need protein, okay? You also need protein to keep you from going catabolic, consuming your own muscle. You need to take in protein to build muscle. You could build muscle if you're a beginner in a caloric deficit, okay? So, and you just need something to eat. You need to put something in your stomach to keep you from getting hungry. And protein is perfect for that. So protein intake always stays the same or increases when you're losing fat. But like I said, you want you to be burning body fat, not dietary fat. So it doesn't make sense to be taking in 70, 80% of your calories, okay, from fat when we could drop the calories from fat, which drops the total calories, keep the protein the same, and the less fat you eat, okay, the more body fat you have to burn, okay? So you will lose fat faster, and it will actually be easy because the more fat you have to lose, the easier it is to burn, okay? So how low do we drop it? Your body does, in fact, need some fatty acids, some EFAs, essential fatty acids, okay, in order to, rebuild your cells for hormonal function, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I never put anybody on lower than 30% of their calories from fat. So now we're looking carbs as low as possible, as close to zero as possible, basically 70% of your calories coming from protein, 30% coming from fat. Now, what this does is it preserves and builds muscle, and at the same time, it has you burning body fat at an incredible rate because you're taking in so few total calories, so few calories from fat, okay? If you took in 70% of your calories from fat, your body wouldn't burn body fat because it's got plenty in the food. But since you don't have it in the food, you have to burn fat that much faster. Now, what do? Well, you keep going. The more fat you have, the easier it is to burn body fat, okay? So the longer you can go on low fat, okay? And you basically just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. If it gets to you at a certain point, hey, too few calories, too little fat, you're lacking energy, whatever, then we could do a refeed where there's a day or so, a meal, a day, whatever, where we go ahead and increase the fat, which increases the calories, okay, which replenishes you. We could go ahead and do what I call fat cycling. So like hard workout days, you'll have more fat, which means more calories. Light days or rest days, you'll have less fat, which is fewer calories. We could do a diet break where you go back up to something resembling maintenance, okay? And, you'll have like more fat and more calories, and then we'll go back into the diet. But the bottom line is, as long as you have fat to lose, we want you to have less fat in your diet so you burn more of your body fat, okay? And like I said, I start off usually with 70% protein, 30% calories coming from fat. Now, as we try to transition you out of this diet, okay, either because you need a break or because you're as lean as you want to be, we don't want you to get fat. So what we do is we slowly increase the amount of fat you're taking in. You're burning less and less body fat because you have less and less body fat. So we need to give you more and more fat in your food, okay, to make up for the body fat that you no longer have to burn. So we'll slowly increase calories. Once again, keeping the protein the same, we'll slowly increase calories by increasing the amount of fat you're eating. Where does this go? I mean, a lot of times I'm happy and a lot of people are happy maintaining at like 50-50, 50% of your calories coming from fat, 50% of your calories coming from protein. What happens if you're really lean? What happens if you're hungry? What happens if you lack energy? What happens if you want to build some muscle? Okay, great. Maintaining doesn't really exist in my world, okay? In my world, you basically maintain by eating at maintenance with the intent to cut fat, okay? Which means like you'll be, eating, but like you'll get hungry right before your meal. You'll be eating in a slight deficit, or you'll be eating at maintenance with the intent to build muscle, in which case you won't really get very much hungry. You're not stuffing yourself, you're not bulking, you're not dirty bulking, you're just eating at maintenance, but plenty of calories so that you're slightly on the positive side of maintenance, okay? So like I said, for a lot of people, for me, usually that's around like 50-50 almost. If you have a problem where, like I said, you need to eat more, then you just keep the protein the same and you increase the fat. You might get up to like 60% of your calories coming from fat, 70% of your calories coming from fat. I was bulking recently and I was doing pretty good on basically 70% of my calories from fat, 30% of my calories coming from protein. But it wasn't some arbitrary number where if you don't take in 99% of your calories from fat, you're going to burn in hell and you're never going to go into ketosis. You're going to be a bad boy and this is going to go to your permanent record. None of that stuff exists. The facts of the matter is, the reason for you to go into ketosis is not because you eat a certain percentage of fat, it's because you ain't got no carbs. Even if you starve yourself and don't eat a damn thing, you're going to be getting ketosis. You're going to be burning fat for fuel because you ain't got no carbs, so you got body fat, number one. And number two is the more fat you have on your body to burn, the less fat you need to consume, okay? Because you want to be burning your body fat. So as you get leaner, as the diet continues, then you can increase the calories that you're taking in your diet from fat. But like I said, there is no such thing as a set thing. If I have a person who's very overweight, a person who's slightly overweight, a person who's skinny and has to increase his body weight, they're all going to be eating the same amount for their body weight of protein, but some might be eating more or less fat and therefore more or less total calories. If you're interested in figuring out how this really works, you can go ahead and check out my low carb cutting and bulking program down below. It's a complete video program, all kinds of modules, all kinds of lessons, explains everything about getting fat adapted, deciding upon your goal body weight, cutting, bulking, transitioning out of a cutting diet, diet breaks, how to do fat cycling. Everything that I talked about in this video in a couple seconds is explained in detail, low carb cutting and bulking. The RSAM Brotherhood is my Raw Strength and Muscle Brotherhood. It's my group coaching program. Jump on that. You get my workout program and my low carb cutting and bulking program. And you get a community where you can ask me questions. If you have any questions when you make your diet or your workout, you've got Q&A calls once a week where you can look me in the eyes on a Zoom call and ask me questions. Check that out down below. And if you want me to just figure this shit out for you and tell you exactly what to do to reach your goals, check out my one-on-one training down below. All the links are down below. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching this video. Like the damn video, comment if you have any questions, subscribe if you haven't, click the little bell icon so you get informed when a new video gets uploaded. Aside from that, love you guys, appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video.